Thanks so much, Rick. Well, as we turn our attention now back to the fiscal cliff this morning, was the president on to something in 2010 when President Obama said you don't want to raise taxes in the times of economic strife, obviously letting those Bush-era tax cuts expire, going through an economic recovery? Do you want to let those tax cuts expire because so many Americans hurting? Has anything changed from 2010 to 2012? Maybe more context? And this morning we have a little bit more context because now we know the U.S. household net worth has reached a 43-year low. So it begs the question for Washington, is this a time now when you want to raise taxes on those particular Americans? Yeah.
This comes from a study from a NYU economics professor. His name is Alan Wolf. And he has said that the net worth, now this isn't your income, this is your net worth, is now $57,000. That's the median net worth. In other words, it's the lowest, as Clayton said, in decades because debt has ballooned so much in the middle class that your net worth is much lower than it used to be 30 years ago.
Much because home values have declined, so the money you owe on your home is more than it's worth. So that's probably part of that big problem.
Yeah,
sorry, his name is Edward Wolf. I said Alan. It's Edward Wolf. But interestingly, there's another little tidbit in this study that he did, which is that for the top 1%, the net worth has skyrocketed. It's gone up 71% for that top 1% that you've heard so much about. So the discrepancy between the middle class and the upper echelon is bigger than it has been. And that may be what President Obama is clinging to in his principle that on those people, it's time to raise the taxes. Of course, they're just the 1%. Many people would say that the 250,000 bar is too low for most of the country and small business owners.
As for that proposal, one lawmaker from Georgia, Congressman Woodall, doesn't think too highly of it. In fact, equates it to nothing. Watch.
This is a giant blank sheet of paper. It's absent of any information whatsoever, because so too is the president's proposal for tackling the real economic challenge we have here, the real driver of budget deficits, the real threat to American economic superiority in this world: out of control federal spending. President of the United States, been president for 4 years. No credible plan for tackling that spending.
Saw a tweet from a viewer yesterday. I thought it was one of the most poignant tweets I'd seen in a long time. It just said, there's no justifiable reason for Washington to raise taxes on anyone. With out-of-control spending, they could solve all the issues if they would make the right cuts.
Why aren't you part of the negotiation?
Hey, this viewer should have been part of the negotiation.
Okay, good point. All right, meanwhile, let's tell you what's happening in fall.